People are appearing in court this morning in connection with the resurrection of a man who was supposedly brought back to life by Pastor Alph Lukau. According to recent reports, Brighton Elliot Moyo has now reportedly died. Slindela Masikane tracking the story for us. She's at the Johannesburg Magistrates Court this morning. Sli, a very good morning to you. So let's just recap very quickly on the two people expected to appear in court in connection with what we saw in that video that went viral. Who are they and what are the charges?
So what we understand at this stage, Yuveka, is that the arrests were made sometime in March, and in fact this is the second appearance for these two particular suspects. Their first appearance was around the 27th of March, and they are facing around 3 fraud charges which were laid by the funeral parlors that claim they were duped in that resurrection drama. And of course the police seemingly wanted to keep this information under wraps because they say that investigations were at a sensitive stage and that they in fact are still looking for more suspects, including the modern day Lazarus Elliot Moyo.
Okay, so what we're hearing about him is these reports coming out of Zimbabwe, his family saying that he passed away early on in April. He had gone there and that he, and he wasn't well at all. But we don't know. We haven't seen a body. We know that authorities are waiting for a death certificate. So what do we know? What are police here saying also about that information that's coming through from there?
Yeah, we've been seeing these reports for some time now, Yuveka, around whether he is once again dead again. We're seeing some conflicting reports saying that he died in South Africa in an area called St. Luke. Another report saying that he died in his hometown in Zimbabwe, succumbing to pneumonia, and that in fact he was fleeing from the police here in South Africa, and that his family is saying that that he died in Zimbabwe. But from what we know from authorities here in South Africa, Brighton Elliot Moyo is still a wanted suspect until a death certificate is produced by Zimbabwean authorities to prove for a fact that he is in fact dead. So according to the information we have, those particular reports are still unconfirmed, despite the fact that they are quoting so-called family members. But as far as the South African authorities are concerned, Brighton Elliot Moyo is basically still alive and he's still a wanted suspect.
So what of the pastor in this actual story, Isli? I mean, where does he fit into the whole thing? I mean, we know that he was saying he was asked at the time, and from what we know, that the family had brought this person and he was playing completely innocent, that he was asked to bring this person back from the dead. But what do we know about investigations and whether they focus in any way on the pastor in this case?
I think a lot more detail is what's going to be revealed today in courts around whether more suspects are being looked at, including the pastor. What we understand from the police is that they really can't, their hands are tied at this stage with regards to what they can, charge the pastor with, or whether they can arrest him due to probably a lack of evidence at this stage, because social media has actually been asking that particular question, whether the pastor is going to be arrested and why he hasn't been arrested. But we know, of course, that following that video, he released a statement saying that he never claimed to resurrect Elliot, and that Elliot actually had begun breathing from the moment he entered the venue of his church. A lot of just conflicting statements around that. And of course, we know that the CRL Rights Commission, which is mandated with the promotion and protection of religious and cultural rights, they in fact have not started their own investigation into Pastor Alph Lukau, which would assist the police in their own investigations around this particular matter. So it is critical for the CRL Commission to begin that investigation, which can only start once new commissioners have been sworn in, because the term of Mkhwana Zikaluva and her commissioners has recently come to an end. And so at this stage, that particular investigation is stalled. But we will be speaking to the National Prosecuting Authority Authority after the case has gone through its court session today, just to find out a lot more detail around where those investigations around the pastor are at.
Just when you thought this case couldn't get any more complicated or bizarre, here we are now. Thanks very much, Lindelo Masakane. Hopefully more answers coming out in court today.